And it is a really scary thing, and you're wondering what is a good sign once you've actually done this interview or that you're going and getting ready for an interview. Well, the thing is, it's really difficult to tell because what's happening is that it's kind of more like a marketplace than any particular thing. And let me explain what do I mean by a marketplace for different candidates. What is happening is that there's normally a pool of candidates, right? So there might be 100 different people that are applying, and then of that a group of people, it's a committee, will pick and the committee is 3 people, probably somewhere around there, and they will pick the top 5 candidates in which they would like to interview. And then so you interview these individuals, and as you're interviewing them, generally you try to score them or rate them. And as you go through the process, you can't give any sort of signs to the first person compared to the last person, because what might happen is that the first person might be extraordinarily good, but then the last person might be just, knock our socks off or knock people's socks off, right? So it's very difficult to sort of figure that out. And then the other thing that ends up happening is that, so it is kind of like a consensus. Everything in a university is very much sort of consensus based. It's kind of weird that way. A lot of businesses sometimes operate in consensus, but universities are really particularly bad for that because everything's done by committee. Everything is sort of democratic where everybody votes. And so those 3 people that are evaluating you, they will sit down and, once you've done the sort of rank ordering, and generally there's, different criteria and stuff of like, did this person seem like they knew what research was about? Did this person, communicate well? Did this person demonstrate ability to ask questions? Things like that, sort of different criteria. And once you sort of ranked order them individually, then you pull them together and then you come up with a score, and then you rank order them. And then after that, the committee will sit down and sort of talk about them in terms of their top picks. And then in the sort of, unnerving part, it might go out to a larger group at that moment of more faculty. And then they might sort of assess, and you might have a meeting with the larger faculty, and they might sort of say, we have resource constraints in this particular area, but, we could use somebody that's doing this particular thing over here. And so even if you are a top candidate in one particular area, they just might have, resource constraints in that particular area, meaning that they just don't have the funding, or, maybe they don't have the faculty to cover this particular topic, or, all those kind of things. So even if you are spectacular and everybody's really excited, that might be an issue in terms of thinking about what's going on. And there's these conversations that go on a regular basis, goes from the get-go of the beginning of the year, where we sort of decide, or people decide of do we have sort of money for doctoral students, PhD students, and then to the end where we're like, okay, can we handle this? This person is really good, but can we handle that person? And if we determine no, because maybe there is going to be something that happens in a year or two, and we're sort of anticipating that, maybe a couple of people are going to retire, for example, then people, then we are sort of forced to say, maybe we should wait. Or, strategically, there might be like, we want to get into this area, so maybe we should, hire somebody in that particular area, or get somebody, a PhD student in that particular area, because we are moving in that direction. We think we're going to go in that direction.